How you doing? Today we're going to look at the J.C. Higgins Model 44DL. This is also the exact same gun as the Marlin 57. We're going to take it apart, clean it, and possibly fix a couple of problems. So let's get started. Okay, what we're going to do today is some basic disassembly of the gun. Two main screws to disassemble it. The obvious one right here, but then on this steel plate there are three screws. Two small ones that just hold the steel plate on, and the large one which also holds the action to the stock. Now this first screw doesn't need to come out all the way. Once it's loose like that, that's far enough. The back screw will come out all the way. And just to carefully go around the lever. Put that in a safe place. And now we're pulling the top and pushing there. And set the stock aside. Alright. I'm going to start by removing this screw right here. And this large one in the back. Now the back one, you may have to either hold a slot in the back or just put your finger on it to see if it's twisting. If it's been a while since it's been apart, it may twist. This one's not. I can feel the back side of it. It's not moving. So this one in the back, we can just push it out. There it is. You can see that it's got two pieces like that. So it's really a pin with a screw head. And now, just have one more screw on this side to release the whole trigger, lever mechanism, and bolt mechanism from the top of the frame. So here it is. I'm going to do it with this lever down a little bit. And there's the whole mechanism. Now you can see that it all works as one unit, and the bolt mechanism is riding in this slotted cam, and the lever is what drives it forward and back. So we will talk about how to remove it. There's a single pin there, but you may not want to remove that, because inside in this slot of the bolt there's a roller, because you can see the pin right here is a whole lot smaller than that slot that it rides in. So on this pin inside there is a like a donut or a bushing that rides in there. So I think if you're just going to clean it, you can probably do a pretty good job of cleaning everything right from here without the need to take it apart. Okay, back to this pin for a minute, right here. I will go ahead and disassemble this for mine, just because it'll show the rest of it to be much easier. And what I'll have to do is lay this on a block upside down, and then take a punch and a small hammer and drive that pin out. And that'll be pretty easy. Alright, now cleaning this bolt assembly. This one's already clean. I've done most of it, but the problem I was having is the ejector wasn't ejecting properly. So once you have it pretty clean, it's a pretty good way to test that. Take a 22 caliber bullet, put it up in position, and give it a solid pull. Now that's holding pretty good. So I don't really think I have an ejector problem. I think it was primarily a dirt problem. Okay, one really important part of cleaning this gun up properly is these little cutouts next to the barrel for the extractor. When the extractor slides in next to the barrel, it's got to fit in tight. So there has to be cutouts for the extractor in there. Well, those things get dirty. They're really hard to clean. That's why I made this little 14 gauge wire pick. It's made out of copper, so it's not going to hurt the steel. And you can pick out the dirt. You can also stick a little piece of cleaning patch in there, rub that in there, and get out any kind of dirt or debris. But you want to make sure that works really good. Now, a way to test this is I take an empty shell here, put it in the barrel, and it's going to fit pretty tight because it's expanded. Push it down. Now I take the extractor or the bolt and sort of slam it forward like it would be with a mechanism. And now if you just try to pull it straight back, it won't go because it's got this locking over center here. So you got to push that up at least a little bit and then pull it back. And you can see that when the bolt came out, it's still holding the empty shell. So that means it's working pretty good. So that's a really good test. Okay, I think I found a way to get this little tiny pin and roller in there. First of all, the lever's got to be all the way down so that this piece is all the way up. Now what I found is you take a very small, thin piece of metal and you put the roller on top of that. So it's sitting on top of it. And now, carefully you take this and you push away the supporting piece of metal until that gets in there. It's in there. And now the bolt's holding it in place. And if you've got enough light on the top, you can see through the top. Okay, so now the roller's in there and this punch is temporarily holding it in place. Seems to be in the right place. You can look at it. It looks like it's in there. I got to finish driving that pin home a little bit more because it's not in good enough shape right now. It's got to be flush. Well, I think the pin's flush, and I've got it working, so that all looks normal. That's a tough one. Okay, now we're going to attach this whole mechanism back to the barrel. Now you've got two sets of screws. You've got a fairly large hole back here, which is going to take this large screw pin combination set, and a smaller one up front, which has these individual screws. These are threaded in right here. So what we have to do, and of course we've lubricated all this up so that everything's going to be smooth and easy to operate. I think I would start this with the lever partially down. Looks like it goes up in there pretty well. This back one's really a two-piece pin that's threaded. And it doesn't look like it's quite aligned properly. This whole thing has to just go forward a little bit. Yeah, that looks better. Yep, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and put one screw on this. There's a lock washer on this, and I got my finger on the back side, and I don't feel the back of it moving, so I think it's good. And I'll take the last screw and put it up in here. All right, let's see if it all works. Looks like everything's working fine. Okay, now that we've got everything back together on the lower assembly, we're just going to put the whole thing back. Get the stock with the lever down. Get it carefully through there. Now this front screw should be pretty easy to do. And I'm just going to tighten it up part way because I found that this back one underneath the hand guard can be a bit of a trick. This thing takes a little bit of a feel to find out exactly where it is. I got it. It really does take a pretty careful touch to get it in there. Okay, there we go. Everything seems to be working. That works. And it's back together.